Pennsylvania is a group representing the subcontractors of Central Pennsylvania and Lehigh County, Lehigh Valley, 31 counties. Specifically, we are the trade contractors that actually build the buildings. We are the suppliers, the rental houses that support that construction. What we are not are the general contractors or the construction managers, the owners. Right now, our current priority, and I'm president and owner of a small business in Allentown, Pennsylvania, constructor. I'm not a staffer of the association, but I am the chairperson for the task force on payment. We have a task force on payment because our priority right now at ASA is improving the business environment for the subcontractor through prompt payment. Construction, for those of you not familiar with the ins and outs of construction, is unique to all the other industries, and I really put some thought into who else might have payment practices like we do, and there really aren't any except for maybe the rental association. But with construction, we put the labor in, we put the material in to fabricate the product. We're building the building, we're developing the site, we're putting the storm sewer in, putting the foundations in. We deliver that product. It's tested, it meets specifications. When it comes back approved, that is ready for use, it is put into use. So if we build a foundation, the steel erector starts putting the steel on top of the foundation for its intended use. And then once it's put into use, we wait for payment. And we wait, and we wait. And currently, ASA, Central Pennsylvania, did a survey among subcontractors throughout the state. Tended to be largely private subcontractors working on private construction. 80% of the respondents said their average collection period is 45 days. And unfortunately, 30% said it was 60 days, over 60 days. Now, recognize when we use those numbers, average collection period, that's from the moment we bill to when we collect. But there's also another 30 days in front of that, because we generally are billing once a month at the end of the month, and then we get our payment 45, 60 days later. We get that payment, and then it's only 90% of what we build. And if you try to look it up and put it in your Word, it won't pop up. It'll show as an error, but we call that retainage. It doesn't exist in the English language except in construction. So we get 90% of our bill after waiting 45 to 60 days for payment. 10% is commonly withheld as a means to ensure that this subcontractor completes their work and gets the project to the end. Again, we refer to that as retainage. So imagine if you were to go down to Faulkner and say, hey, I really like this car. I'm going to take it today. I'll pay you for it after I've ridden it for 45 days. And then I'm going to give you 90%. And then for the next 18 months, I'm going to hold that 10% to make sure I really like it. That's construction. Okay? Retainage is intended to get us back on the job, but particularly for the subcontractor, we complete our work. We're done with the job, but we don't get our payment of that 10%. We have again done a survey where 50%, where the average collection period for retainage, so the project is complete, all the payments have been received other than the 10% or whatever the retainage may be on that particular project. It takes 2 months to 18 months on average to get that 10% from when the subcontractor has completed their work. The majority of the respondents are telling us that that period is getting longer right now during the current business cycle than what it had previously been pre-recession. So where we're at is we have 40 to 60 days average collection period, 10% retainage in an industry that is only getting 15 to 20% gross profit margin. Very truly, I tell you, most construction subcontractors are in negative cash flow until they have completed that project. We are always trying to catch up. We are putting in 30 to 45 days in advance of getting our first payment. We can't catch up with that because we keep putting out more. If a payment's delayed, that hurts even more. Then we're only getting 90% of what we actually constructed. It's making for a very challenging situation for the subcontracting community, not only in Pennsylvania but throughout the country. So much so that currently, right now, we have a credit line like